Hi. Just thought I'd give a shout here. Maybe I have some time. Maybe not. Anyway, it's Joe Baker's Remedy Report, and today's date is Friday, November 11th, 2022. Hope you're all having a good time. I might get to finish up a little bit more of my my project on building a little patio, some patio bricks underneath where we like to use the grill today, and but the days are a little shorter, in terms of sunlight, winter time, and all that. Sorry about my hair; it's just a just a mess. My host here is dealing with some health issues today. So yesterday we had some issues, and we kind of patched it up with ozone therapy, but also she's going to have her blood work checked, some of that stuff, just to make sure things are going okay. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know if I should discuss it on the air, but it's really good to have ozone in your toolkit of things to be able to help people with. It's good stuff. Although, one thing I'm curious about is, all right, so if someone starts to have, a stroke or a heart attack or something like that, and that's not what's going on here, but if they do, I know there are tests afterward that they do to find out, like if you had a heart attack or something like that, and I wonder if ozone would interfere with that test, like the application of ozone afterward could interfere with the enzymatic tests or whatever they use to test whether you had like a stroke or I think heart attack is what I'm thinking in particular. And what other kinds of tests would ozone negate if you use it as a first responder type of tool? It's got methods of reducing inflammation. It's an analgesic, which reduces pain. It's a non-toxic steroid. It's got all these benefits, and it also would reduce blood clotting in the normal sense, where blood cells are sticking to one another, because it comes in and it provides tons of electrons, so that those blood cells can detach from one another instead of having that pancake effect. But there are new kinds of blood clots showing up ever since these COVID injections, and it's almost like a if you go to the coroners who end up dissecting the bodies and stuff after they're dead, they're finding a new type of material in the veins. I don't know, the blood vessels, veins or arteries, I don't know which to say. That's kind of a white, elastic type of material. Almost makes me think of those Stretchy Man toys that the kids have. It's like a muscle man, and you can stretch it. Well, who knows what the composition of that stuff is? Someone needs to get with and do some analysis of that. Find out what the heck is that, and does it respond to ozone? Does ozone break it up? Would be a good question. Because there's people dying with these long clots that run the length of their leg, from the hip bone down to the foot, pretty much. So that's the strange things we're seeing. If you go to the crowd, to find out information about what's out there, that's it. And I don't know what dissolves that. One of the things I've thought might be good to use is called serrapeptase, and you eat it. I mean, take it as a supplement. It's an enzyme from the silkworm, and it's meant to dissolve silk, which is a pretty powerful thing. I mean, silk is like stronger than steel and stuff. It's so the serrapeptase has some powerful ability to dissolve things that are non-viable tissues. That is, things that aren't living. So if this stuff is not a living type of organic thing, there's a good chance the serrapeptase could clear up some of that stuff. The way you take it is you fast for about 3 hours, and then so you take it on an empty stomach, and then you take it, and then you don't eat anything again for another probably 3 hours. And this gives you gives it the time to go through your body and work on digesting this stuff. The reason you don't want any food in your system while it's working is because it'll just digest the food, and then it's just you pay all this money for a premium thing, and it just helps you with your digestion. But what you want is for your body to be free of food particles to digest, and then have this stuff go to town on actually literally kind of digesting the matter in your body that isn't part of your living self. Yeah, I always found serrapeptase to be an interesting thing. I'll have to ask our partners, our affiliate partners, for them to consider carrying serrapeptase, because it's one of the favorite things I like to talk about. One of the things that it's good for, allegedly, is to help with your third eye, and because third eye tends to get calcified, and then your dreams aren't as colorful or vivid, and or you don't dream at all, like was the case with me back when I was 44 years old. And then I started taking the serrapeptase, and man, I started dreaming again. So I was very happy about that. So, yeah, very curious. I'm curious what you all think about how to deal with the COVID shots and the blood clots that they cause. I was looking up some data on all-cause mortality today, trying to get some understanding of how many people are dying and how much, beyond the normal we might be experiencing at this time. And I ran into some stuff. The CDC had a page, and that was just kind of too complicated to figure out. It looked like they had some nice tools for doing that, but you'd have to figure out how to change them, how to set the parameters and all. And that wasn't immediately. I mean, it wasn't really the data the kind of information I wanted. I'll be helping to take care of an elderly man here pretty soon, who has dementia. So that'll be interesting. My bicycle, the gas-powered bicycle, I put another muffler on it, and it runs quiet enough. It doesn't seem to have a lot of power at the low end. Ellen, hi Ellen. I'm gonna bring you in. Oh, with audio only. Okay. It said there were technical issues, Alan. Let's see if I can. ALAN. And that's fine if you just come in with. I think we've had Alan on the show before. Hi, Carol Ann. Good to see that you're out there. I'm using different software today. I'm just using Facebook's interface on the phone. He says they're on me, mate. Alan writes. It doesn't sound good. Yeah, well, I guess we'll shift over and talk about my economic ideas. There's things that you have a perspective of in your life, of things that are valuable to you, and then you kind of know other people that those things are valuable to, and then there's people who don't care for it at all. Hence the old saying, one man's how's it go? One man's trash is another man's treasure, something like that. And but then somehow the governments came up with this idea of money, and they make demands upon everyone to pay taxes with it. And so everybody has this idea that government money is valuable. And it's interesting because at first the only thing that it's good for is paying taxes paying allegiance to the government. But because the small part of your, your life's economy of paying taxes becomes a common necessity of, everyone in the community or the continent, then it catches on and it starts becoming a common carrier of value for everything. So you kind of get the idea that it snowballs. It starts out as a small portion of the economy that people, might pay their taxes with it and such, and then it snowballs into becoming the medium of exchange for, like 95% of the transactions that go on your continent. So I'm leading a revolution in monetary thought by saying, by teaching you guys that forgiveness can have a value on it, and you can create a document that controls a specific act of forgiveness and relays its value out to 100 pieces of paper or 100 pieces of a cryptocurrency asset. Or it could just be one paper, just one piece of paper, and it could be worth, $10,000, something like that. Whatever you want to say it is worth. But the idea that I have to get through to you is that, when we help anyone in this world, we're helping everybody. When we help when we relieve someone of an obligation, we are reducing tension. We're bringing an end to hostilities, and we're allowing people to function better. And it doesn't. The thing about forgiving, I think there's misconceptions about what I'm trying to accomplish. It's not the idea of forgive and forget. To the opposite, it's important that we don't forget the acts of forgiveness that happen. What I do, I like to think, separates the actor from the act. Like if someone does damage to you, the damage is there, and the deed that caused it, there may be some open hostility and aggression toward. That's what we're trying to do, to forgive the act and to separate the act from the actor that caused it. Because through the act of forgiveness, we put the actor back in honor regarding that particular act. And so we create, a financial asset that bears the value of the forgiveness. But if the actor continues to do this sort of thing, well, they're right back in dishonor again. And this goes to their reputation. And I think that this also becomes a way to open source a new set of values. Values about what's right and wrong in an emerging world where, you know, the laws can't keep up with the technology. In fact, I think this is the way that laws or, you know, guidelines, rules, commandments, if you want to say, will derive themselves from human interactions. And that's really how law is supposed to work. It's through the experiences a community has in its own circumstances, their own, you know, weather conditions, their own travel conditions, their own ideas about, you know, what's, you know, common good for them and all and such. So yeah. Organic law. Law is supposed to grow organically through the experiences that men and women have with one another, and where they find themselves injured. But we have lost this ability to have organic law because the courts have gone totally corrupt. I mean, you've got judges accepting bribes through mortgage payoffs, and you know, it's kind of a back channel approach to resolve these things. I gotta go. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.